Hello FlossTube, my name is Tamara, and in today's video I wanted to show you two finished projects, and these are going to be most probably the last finished projects of this autumn, the autumn of 2022. And also I would like to show you the progress I'm making slowly on and I finished stitching this design. Yes, Jeannette Douglas Designs sew together. All 8 parts are finished. I finished them this morning, and wanted to film its how they say, the ready work also today, because I'm filming this on the 10th of November. Probably you're going to see this later, but the 10th of November, it's the cross stitchers day, in case you didn't know. So that's why for me it was kind of symbolic to finish stitching this work until today, so that I would have it ready for today. So it would be a present for me as a stitcher. I have been stitching the last three parts, because the first 5 I showed to you. So this is ribbons and trims. By the way, the parts were very easy to stitch, because this one, for example, is just cross stitch, no back stitch, no specialty stitches. Then it's letters and numbers, which also comes just cross stitch, no back stitch, no specialty stitches. And the last one, silks and wools, or wools and silks. This one had some satin stitch here as the grass, and had some I think they are Rhodos stitches. I'm not sure, but I think they are Rhodos stitches. If you're curious, I can show you closer how it looks like. This one and this one. I will try to film the whole design in the end, so closer, because I know that there are stitchers who need this, like and need this, because you know, not everybody can see from such a distance. I tried to make such a distance from the design so that you would see everything being stitched. These designs, so here they are actually, it's the first page. They come separately, so they're not sold all of them 8 together. If you want to buy them, you have to buy them separately, one by one. In case you don't like all of them, you want to make yourself a collage of just 4, you can buy just 4, the ones you like. If you want just 2, you can buy yourself 2, 1, or the 8 of them, as I did it. So this is how it looks like, the preview, because there is a difference between the preview and what you look at this bird, for example. The stitched work looks nicer, much nicer. Pins and needles, so this is how it looks like. But when you stitch, you know, these previews, they can be as a guidance when you're not sure about some things. I remember that I found 1 or 2 stitches being a little bit different from what from what it was here, but nevertheless, in such a multitude of stitches, they are not so evident. So inside it's the chart, and all the charts, they have such a key. By the way, yes, I didn't say the most important thing, that I according to the key, they recommend stitching this design in on 40th count linen, and stitching 1 thread. I wouldn't say that I have poor eyesight, but I wouldn't say that I have very good eyesight. And when I'm stitching on such a tiny count as 40th, for me it's not like, I would say I'm struggling, but it's not so so bad. I don't feel relaxed, you know. And when I'm stitching on the 40th count, I don't feel relaxed. And I told myself that I would stitch on a larger count, so this is the 32nd, and it's stitched in 2 threads already, because this count makes me feel comfortable. I said that stitching is a hobby, and hobby should bring you joy and peacefulness and not stress, you know. So I shouldn't struggle on the 40th count, because I don't, you know, this is not my work, but I don't have to, nobody makes me stitching on this count. That's why this was my choice. But nevertheless, when you read the instructions for different stitches, they say if you are stitching on a count larger than, say, 36, stitch in 2 threads, this and that, you see. So this was my choice. I don't regret, of course, a bit. I like it a lot how it turned with this one to be. Yes, it's bigger, maybe in the, not maybe, for sure on the 40th count it would have been much smaller, but nevertheless I think it's beautiful, this one. So the key on all the designs, for example, this key is for the 7th part, they are the same. So because here you need threads from 4 brands. First of all, you need Gentle Art threads, so this is the list of Gentle Art. Then you need Wix Dye Works, just 1, whitewash. Then you need Classic Color Works, this is 3 shades of floss. And then you need DMC floss, which is 6 shades of floss. Each of the keys come like this, but not all of them are like this in color. So in case the thread is white, it means it's not darkened, it's white, it means that this thread won't be needed in this design. For example, here from Gentle Arts, you won't need Brethren Blue. From Classic Color Work, you won't need Gingerbread. From DMC, you won't need 926, 927, something like this. Speaking about the threads I used, in case you are curious, because I stitched on a count which is bigger, I can tell you about the hand-dyed threads, because the DMC threads, they come on bobbins. In my case, I'm just taking them from my stash and stitch the bit I need and then put them back. So I cannot tell you how much DMC I needed, but for sure you don't need more than 1 skein of DMC. If you speak about the Gentle Art, so these are the leftovers of the threads, and more than this, I can tell you, yes, that I needed 1 extra. I needed 1 extra for the wood trail, and look from the second one how much I have left. So not a lot, not a lot. Of course, they don't tell you that you have to buy 2 or 3 more skeins of this that color, because it is supposed that you are stitching in 1 thread, and probably if they don't say to buy, the key doesn't say to buy 2 or 3, it means if you stitch in 1 thread it's going to be enough. This I am showing you garden gate. Where is the wood trail? The wood trail, yeah, sorry, wood trail. Wood trail is the color which is needed to write all these words which come in every frame. This is pins and needles, samplers, ribbons and trims. And besides this, the color is needed inside, like where the design is stitched also is needed. That's why it went quite a lot. From the others, the critical, so-called critical colors of floss, this is Garden Gate and this is Old Red Paint. So again, not a lot of leftovers, but still there is, so they weigh enough. Cannot tell you what will happen if you will stitch on the 28th count, honestly. I cannot tell you. The Wix Dye Works whitewash, here it is, because nevertheless I needed it. You see, I need it like in the sheep, the cotton balls, the flowers, in the bird, in the house, in the bird, here. So everywhere it was needed a little bit, but it was enough. I was sure that this one is going to be almost all stitched, but no, it was enough. And from Classic Color Works, so Old Gold and Gingerbread, they were more than enough and quite good leftovers, but stepping stones from the very beginning. I bought 2 because the stepping stones is needed for the frames, and then inside of the frame where the design is also is needed. In this case, I wouldn't tell you exactly if you would need 2 or more, because when I got like here, I just realized that the distance, the space between the frames, it was too big in my case, and I frogged 2 frames and I moved them closer, you see, and that's why maybe if I hadn't frogged those ones, it would have been enough. The thing is that besides this, I had 2 which were bought in the very beginning. They weren't enough, and I bought the third. So this is the third. This is like not a lot used from the third, but still I needed the third. In case you won't make the mistake I made, 2 may be enough. So my advice, if you are stitching on 30-second count, buy initially 2. In case you won't have, it won't be enough. 2 you will need for sure. But if you are not going to frog and you'll stitch economically, maybe 2 is going to be enough. So it's never too late to buy the third, you know, but the third, it may not be needed. And this is with the thread. So we are going into my stash of thread leftover, because I separate that stash of threads, hand-dyed threads. I have a box for classic color works, I have a box for Wix Dye Works, and for a box for gentle art, because they prove to be useful when you need some leftovers to stitch something, or if you need to stitch another design and you don't need a lot of thread. Of course, they are useful. What else I wanted to tell you? The way of stitching, or the method I choose to stitch this design enchanted me. The thing is that being a design which can be stitched, you know, little by little. For example, I have 20 minutes before I have to go to take the kid from school. Don't wanna take a big project, like take everything out, so on and so forth. This one was in a box. I was opening the box, and for example, until I went to take him from school, I stitched some element here, there, where I take a thread and stitch that thread, some leaves with that thread. So I used to do this like throughout, I don't remember exactly when I started this design, either in July or in August, and now it's November. So kind of 3 or 4 months I used for this one, and I didn't use whole days to stitch this design. So it was stitched now and then when I had those 10-20 minutes, 3 minutes. And I'm thinking about taking another design, I mean like another sampler design from my stash, not this year, I mean like not December, next year, to see what I have there with threads already, and start stitching it the same, because you know I just didn't realize when this design was ready. Already in the last days I saw that this one can be finished until the 10th of November. That's why I like try to remember it more often, so that I would finish it. So I like the fact that I didn't feel that I spent time with this design, but this design is ready and is stitched, and this one was on my plan, in my plan list to be stitched in like at least 1.5 years. I was like, okay, let me start this design. I want to stitch this design, and finally stitched just like this. So it's a good idea to have designs which can be stitched easily and like can be fitted everywhere. About the finishing, so lately I am very keen to finish everything in a bell pull. This one won't be a bell pull. This one, taking into account of its size and way of like being put here, I think it asks for a frame. I don't know, I haven't thought yet, but you know, lately I noticed that I am very open for unusual finishing. Unusual meaning like pin keeps, pin cushions, anything. So it started the way of framing of finishing the works in unusual ways. It attracts me more and more. Maybe you have some ideas of how to finish this one. If you have any other idea besides putting it in a frame, please leave your comment. I will be very happy to read that. And I also wanted to show you how my Chatelaine design project is progressing. This is Sanssouci Castle and Gardens. I'm showing you like the big image, not all of them, because what I'm working on actually is this round element. I'm filling it in. This is a fountain which goes like down the steps of the steps which start like in front of Sanssouci building and go down. So this would be the fountain. That's why the colors here are so nice. This is water. Here in the materials used inside this circle, let me call it simple circle. It's just silks. It's dinky dyes and Gloriana silks, and from the metallics it's Rainbow Gallery, so no DMC, no cotton threads, and it's extremely beautiful. By the way, some stitchers, I know that they say that they don't like stitching the same element many times. For example, as here you have to stitch, you see it's 4 corners and you have to stitch each element 4 times. I noticed, because I haven't stitched big Chatelaine designs, to see if I'm getting tired or no. So far it's okay with the repeating elements, so I'm trying not to stitch all the elements the same kind in the same time, so it's okay so far. It's very beautiful. This one is not filled in yet, but it's going to be a lot of beads and like Mill Hill treasures. So yes, this one is really beautiful. I wouldn't say that I'm progressing as fast as I wanted to, but you know, for me the task is the following: each month to stitch this work. It doesn't matter how much. If I manage to stitch more, that's okay. If I manage to stitch not so much, again it's okay. But as long as I stitch the work every month, okay, not 1 to 3 stitches, of course, I mean like minimum 1000, but so far I have done more than 1000 stitches each month. This is okay for me, because it's possible to stitch Chatelaine design, like huge big Chatelaine designs, quicker, but with the condition that you stitch very little the other things, or you don't stitch any other things besides Chatelaine. It's not my case. I like very much stitching something else. Maybe sometime in future I will switch only to Chatelaine, I don't know. But you know, I realized that probably in future Chatelaine is going to be in my projects, because I like stitching it, meaning like little by little every month, but I like stitching it. So finishing this one probably is going to be a new one, so throughout the years I'll manage to stitch 2-3 works, designs, I don't know. My reason for loving so much the Chatelaine designs is the materials which I used. I like very much stitching with silks, using the Miyuki beads, the Swarovski treasures. I like the specialty stitches which are here, and I like the designs themselves, the result. So what is the outcome of all these things? So this is it so far, but I will let you know, of course, how this work is, how this design, how this project is going on. And the next thing I wanted to show you, this is Bothy threads. This is gossamer slipper. It was a kit I bought very recently from Knitting and Stitching show. It was a spontaneous purchase because I haven't planned. I just saw it being stitched there at the stand and liked it a lot, bought it. Then when like being October and being in the month of Halloween, I was tempted to start stitching it, and I even showed in a video that I opened the kit and I am starting stitching it. I finished it, by the way. That's why today I'm ready to show you the stitched work. Haven't filmed anything in between because honestly when I could film some progress, I didn't have the opportunity to film. That's why it will be the ready work. So in the kit, it was white 14th count Aida, which I didn't use because I changed the fabric. And changing the fabric, you probably remember that I was like kind of wondering which one to take. I had between the lilac 32nd count because yes, I made it smaller. It's not so big in my case, it's smaller. And and the light gray, I had the color of light gray. Till the end, lilac won the case because it's the color of Halloween. I don't know, it's more Halloweeny. I don't know if you like it. For me, it's nice. I like very much the choice I made. Surprisingly for me, it was a quick stitch. Surprisingly because I was doubting about the backstitch. There is a lot of backstitch here, so I was doubting that this one is going to be quick, and I was doubting if this one won't fed me up so that I would like abandon the work at the design, the project at a certain moment. But no. Nice, very nice. I have the leftovers here, pretty much leftover, by the way. I have from this design. Okay, you should take also in consideration that I made the count smaller. That's why I have like quite a lot of leftovers. So what I actually did, I started from the this part, the down of the bottom part of the work, stitched the grass, then went to this cat. Started to stitch the stitches of the cat, and I stopped for a moment, looked at the preview one more time, and I noticed that these stitches, that here are no 3/4 stitches, you see. And when you stitch like this, a lot of how they say, edges, they get out of the back stitch. And the color of the thread being dark, it's black, it's dark gray. This one we're getting like out of, you know. I am not a fan of 3/4 stitches, but between choosing let's say an item where the edges like get out and make it get neat, and I can make it neat, I choose to make it neat. Spend more time, but make it neat. So yes, I made a lot of 3/4 stitches, but as you can see, the back stitch here doesn't let any edges of the cat get out of it. So the back stitches vary. Yeah, I know this yellow stitches may confuse you, but this is the design and I like it, by the way. There is a charm about them. Did the same thing about the second cat, because this one also the edges of the cross stitches were getting out of the back stitch, so did the same thing, worked out it neatly. I hope it is nice because I did my best to do it. Then when I came to this pumpkin, I just realized that I have to do it. I mean, like, I have to make the roundness being round, so I did the same thing here on the edges, just on the edges. So I made like 3/4 stitches. This background here, by the way, it's in one thread, so it's cross stitch, but is one thread, because the rest of the design is stitched in 2 threads. Also, I had an issue with the back stitch color, because the back stitch, which is used here in the pumpkin. It's the same backstitch which is used in these branches. It's darker and lighter brown. The pumpkin, they advise to make the leaf here with darker brown, and the like the pumpkin itself make with lighter brown, the eyes, the mouth, the nose, so on and so forth. I made it with the lighter ones, but it was almost unseen, you see. That's why I took the darker variant, and I didn't frog what it was made. I just went on one more time over that back stitch, and I like this variant much more. Let me show you the preview. You see in the preview, you can see the outlines of the eyes, the nose, the mouth, but in my case it wasn't evident. I don't know. And having stitched the pumpkin with this color, I liked it very much, so I used the same dark color for the leaves as well. Because if you would look in the preview, again, you see the leaves, the outlines of the leaves, they come with a lighter brown. In my case, it's darker. But you should take into consideration also the fact that I stitched on a darker fabric. Here, according to the key, it's white. In my case, it's darker fabric, so using a darker back stitch, I think it didn't spoil anything. So this is about the back stitch. Then these branches, they come with 3 colors or 4 colors of red, don't remember, but they were quite easy to stitch it. Like I made the branches, so I just making the branch, I reached the top of the work. My next step, it was the leaves. In the leaves, I also made 3/4 stitches, not so many as in the cat, because here there were moments when I could like make the full stitches. Mostly I needed these 3/4 stitches in the on the edge of the leaves. You see, I like very much the effect, so I worked the extra with these 3/4 stitches, because you have to look in the chart, you have to realize which stitch is not full, is a quarter. But nevertheless, if you stitch for a long time and you look at the back stitch which is there, you realize what you have to do. Honestly, it's not a big deal. So finished the leaves, made the back stitch on the leaves. I was left with the spiders and with the this spider web. And this was the moment which I was afraid the most, by the way. I made the cross stitches of these spiders, because I finished with the cross stitches, and started the web from here. The web is made with this thread, which I don't know what thread this one is. It's either so I don't know if this one is something from anchor palette, or it's a I don't think it's cranic. I don't know why I don't think it's cranic. I was thinking how this thread is going to be in use. It was great, by the way, unexpectedly, surprisingly, but it was great. So it didn't use to break, it didn't use to twist, it didn't use to like go, you know, like this, to split the ends. Nothing. Perfect. I was like, wow. Probably this was the main reason for which this backstitch of the web went so neatly, so nicely, because there wasn't such a moment when I said that, okay, I don't want to stitch it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore because I'm sick and tired, or I cannot like bear doing it. So it was like an evening and the half of the next day, and I finished it. And it's a lot, believe me, it's a lot. So this was the moment of which I was afraid that it will break me off from this project, but no, everything went. And it's you know, it's silver and black, this thread, and it's so nice, it's so well thought. Genius. Genius, I would say. So finished it, made the legs of the spiders, because you have to make the legs of the spiders like the last ones, and that's it. The work was ready. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised that it went on so neatly, but of course I was happy about this. Haven't finished it in anything. So far I think about again a bell pull, because this is autumn. Maybe another idea will come to me. I thought about finishing it, but then, you know, like the Halloween season finished, and Christmas designs are knocking on the door, very heavily knocking on the door, saying, okay, you should start stitching us. That's why it will stay so far. We'll see what I'm going to do next with it. A pleasant stitching during October, because you know October is all Halloween, and having a Halloween stitch in October, it's nice. Looked at the other designs, so Bothy threads. I think this is the designer of this slipper, Sally King. I think this is what is written right, like. I looked on the site of Bothy threads to see other shoes. They have other shoes, a lot of them, by the way. I was surprised of how many they have. Thought about maybe choosing other designs for other seasons. But no, you know, so far none of the designs of the shoes which were there like made me buy one, and I'm very keen. I'm a very how to say, I'm a real shopaholic. I mean, like stitching shopaholic, and if nothing appeals so much that I would buy it now, it means that I shouldn't buy it. So yes, not other design from this series, not yet. Maybe in future they will have new designs. Maybe from the existing designs I'll see it in a different light and I will be keen to buy it, but not yet. And so far I'm staying with this beautiful, nice Halloweeny autumn, call it as you want, shoe. I think it's gorgeous, this one. I think it's gorgeous, quick, nice atmosphere stitch, Halloweeny stitch. So if you like such designs, you can have a look at Bothy threads, what they have about these shoes, and you can purchase yourself, not a pair. I mean, yeah, you can buy yourself a pair, but it's going to be different designs. You can purchase yourself a shoe too. And that's everything what I wanted to show you in today's video. I hope it was interesting for you. I hope you liked it, and see you in my next videos. Until then, bye bye.